There we go. So what happened on the morning of Pearl Harbor?
Well, I relieved the 48 watch in the radio room. I had the 8 to 12 that morning. How we doing? Good. And I relieved him about 7:45, and he went over to the other side of the ship where he was getting picked up a newspaper. Hey, we had to read the funny papers before you did any work.
Of course.
And, well, anyway, he came running back and he said, hey, there's some funny looking planes out here. Take a look out the radio room door. And I did. There was a plane, if he was 100 feet off the water, that was high, and banking around at that altitude, ready to go in and drop his torpedo on Battleship Row.
Wow.
So I guess I must have seen one of the first planes that hit us. And immediately, everybody on board knew it wasn't our planes, and General Quarters rang, and I got relieved in the radio room by the chief radio, and I had a gun station. I was sight setter of number 4 5-inch gun. Now this ship was built in 1918, and they had all old equipment, you know. The 5-inch gun, it was an old bag powder and projectile. It took 14 men to man one gun, and they wouldn't point above a 30-degree elevation, so they were no good for any aircraft.
Wow.
They were old surface guns. And, well, to make a long story short, it was about the end of the first attack, and I got word over the telephones at my position to secure the 5-inch guns and go to your normal duty station. I secured everything. I went back to the radio room, just shut the door in the radio room. Boom. Concussion from an armor-piercing bomb that went through a 6-foot thick concrete dock in Westlock. We were at the Naval Ammunition Depot dock there, and it exploded after it went through 6-foot thick concrete.
Wow.
And it broke a steam line on board. We lost ship's power for a short period. And I was ordered to get the emergency radio generator going. Now, it was an old hand-crank 4-cylinder gasoline engine that drove a generator for the radio. But thank God, the day before, we had captain's inspection, and the captain asked me to start it. I choked that thing, and after about 4 cranks, it started. He said, put the load on it, and I did, and he says, very well, secure. Thank God he asked me to start it the day before. That morning, when I was ordered to get that emergency radio generator going, I ran up the boat deck, choked it one time, 1 crank, and it started.
You were prepared.
Yeah. Thank God. But in the afternoon, an officer came by the radio room. He says, is Stone in here? I said, yes, sir. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm standing by to repel raiders. We had heard that the Japanese had made landings at Lululay, which was only about 3 miles away. So we were standing by with fire axes to cut the lines, had steam up, ready to get underway. And I got a 30-06 and I'm standing by to repel raiders. And he said, well, get somebody to relieve you. I got something to show you on the boat deck. The first thing that goes through your mind is he's in charge of the hull and the personnel that takes care of it. You know, what the hell did I do on the boat deck that he wants to show me? And we went up the ladder and he says, see all these bullet holes here? He said, I was on the bridge when you were running up here to get that emergency radio generator going. We were being strafed, and he said that pilot that was strafing us had you right in his sight. I had no idea.
Wow.
Running ahead of the deal. Well, that's my basic story.
That's incredible.
We were the first ship to get back to the mainland after the attack. We left on the 12th.
You're busy, I'm sorry.
And we were out maybe 4 hours, 4.5, 5 hours, something like that. Under attack by a Japanese submarine. Had 2 torpedoes fired at us, one under our counter stern. And as we were turning to avoid the second one, it grazed along the port side of the ship. And we were ordered to send plain language, under attack by enemy submarine, and maintain radio silence from then on, which we did. We get to Farallon Islands, about 20 miles out from the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. We're challenged by a Coast Guard cutter. And when they got our call letters, NELK was our call. Can't be, they said. We heard you were sunk. But the word, we didn't, we maintained radio silence after sending a message, and they thought we were gone.
Wow. Surprise.
Oh, well. I spent a lot of the war in submarines and made war patrols and got 7 ships.
Now, how much do you still think about Pearl Harbor in that day?
Can't forget about it.
I don't have a room big enough.
Hey, it's one of the things that changed everybody's life.
Oh, yeah.
In a way, it was a good thing that they attacked us then. They didn't realize that they would awaken a sleeping giant.
Oh, yeah.
And thank God they finally finished it off, But last year I was invited to go to Pearl Harbor for the 70th anniversary by the Greatest Generation Foundation. They're located in Denver, Colorado. And I don't know if this is true, because they would not okay this. 5 years before, Tom Brokaw was the guest speaker, and I got him aside after his talk, and I said, Tom, you pulled a boo-boo in that book of yours, The Greatest Generation. He looked at me kind of funny, and he says, what's the matter? I said, you said nothing about the submarine service, and it was such an important part of the whole Pacific War. And I said, before you leave here, you go 100 yards over to the Pacific Submarine Museum, you get a hell of a lot more information for your next book. I was ready to leave him, but he said, wait, he gets a little black book out and wanted my name, address, telephone, but I never heard from him. I'm sure that he's the guy who put my name in as a Pearl Harbor survivor to the Greatest Generation Foundation. They took 24 of us last year, an 8-day trip, all expenses paid. We visited practically every military operation on Oahu. And I have to tell you this, we got to Hickam Field. There's a brigadier general, I guess he's about 53 years old. His welcoming with me was, he put his arms around me and gave me a bear hug. I thought I lost.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, brigadier general hugging me. And we were at Schofield Barracks. There was a commanding general. He was one of the higher ranking officers. I forget what he was now. But he wanted his picture taken with each one of us. I don't know. But we were welcomed out there like royalty.
As well you should be.
You order a drink, somebody was always picking up the tab.
Wow.
I didn't spend any money except for some gifts and things to bring back.
Well,
Yeah, but it was a wonderful trip. But they had scheduled so much stuff for us to do. We were getting old, and didn't give us any rest. One night, we even visited for the burial of a fellow who had passed away during the year and wanted to be buried with his shipmates on the USS Utah. The Utah was one of the first ships, by the way, that got hit that morning, and she capsized. There's quite a few, I can't remember exactly how many shipmates were lost on the Utah, but it was a very impressive service. They had a Navy chaplain, they had a bugler, they had, the fellows that would hold up the flag, and they had 4 Navy divers there to take the ashes and put them in the old hulk of the ship. That ship, by the way, is on the opposite side of Ford Island from the Arizona. Nobody gets to see it over there because there's only, it's a special trip that you have to take to go all the way around Ford Island, which at that time, when I say at that time, I mean in 41, it was the Naval Air Station right in the middle of Pearl Harbor. But today, there are big high-rises, and it's a command center now. And there's even a bridge going over there where we used to have to go over to Ford Island in a boat. It's the only way you can get there, But anyway, it was a terrific trip, and I have to tell you, there's a couple funnies. We were also, the 24 of us were honorary grand marshals of a huge parade on the 7th, and we had a picnic with the governor of Hawaii after the parade. I didn't get to see the parade on TV is where I saw the parade because we were up ahead. And there's a huge band shell there at Capilani Park. And the Princeton University Stage Band was playing big band music there. And this one guy that was blown off of the Arizona, he actually was a crewmate on the Vestal, which was a repair ship tied up to the Arizona. But he happened to be on the Arizona that morning, and when they got that armor-piercing bomb that sunk them, he was blown off the ship at the time. He's 94 years old, from California, and he was in a wheelchair all the time. Well, as soon as he heard that music, he got up out of that wheelchair, grabbed one of the girls, went out in jitterbug at 94. And I said, I can't let that guy show me up. I grabbed one of the girls and went out and danced with her. But it was a great experience, and you'll never forget the trip. It's not my first trip back there. I palled around with a Marine from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and it was his first time back since 1945. He thoroughly enjoyed me taking him around Waikiki and showing him the different things, But back in 41, we had 2 hotels there, the Royal Hawaiian and the Moana. That was it. There was a little canoe club. I think they had 2 or 3 rooms. But, it really wasn't a hotel. It was a club. But that was it. Now you got all these high rises, and the Royal Hawaiian, you can hardly see it. We always call it the Pink Lady because it's a pink building. And well, anyway, it's nice to go back. I guess it was about 6th or 7th trip that I made back. Whether I ever get another chance to go back is, I don't know. It's a long trip. It's about 13-hour air trip over. I doubt it.
How do you like events like this where you can get together with the other survivors?
There's not many of us left.
Yeah, there's only a few here this time.
Sil Puccio and I have been members for many years, and I haven't seen anybody else yet that's a survivor. But I do have a DVD of my trip last year. The Greatest Generation Foundation put it all together. It was professionally done, so I'm going to show that.
Cool.
Well, I don't know, whenever I want to make a presentation of since the whole organization, national organization has ended last year, December 7th, last year. I don't need the charter anymore. I'm going to donate our charter that we had since '69. I'm one of the charter members, and to the Post. They've been so nice to us.
Yeah, well, they said they'll keep this going as long as there's a veteran's going to come to it. So
That'll be great.
So that'll be good.
They have been very, very nice, grateful people, and it's been a great post. Let's put it that way. I think that's all we do.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much.